Awesome. So welcome to tonight's training. We are going over hormone regulation and the whole stress less method that I don't know, coined myself. But who here has ever struggled with like cortisol? Does anybody know what cortisol is? Cortisol is a stress hormone. Who has ever I don't know, done intermittent fasting, low calorie, super low carb, high intensity interval training? Who has kind of like been that tired but wired sensation, that feeling, that burning candle at both ends all the time? If you've had kids, I couldn't imagine you've never felt this way at all. But tonight we are going to not only learn a little bit more about cortisol, but how we can use our nutrition tonight to combat that. So we're going to get into it. And here we go. So cortisol night one, and then we have this. Who's like, did anybody by chance see like my AI thing of my action figure? It had 4 cups of coffee in it, and maybe like one was a shaker cup, maybe one was water. But I am like this person sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm doubling down on my nutrition to kind of figure this out too. So I'm right there with you, even though I am a 36-year-old male and I don't know what it's like to go through menopause or perimenopause or postpartum or period. I get it. I've just had the conversations a million times. So tonight, our main focus is we're going to learn about cortisol and its effects on your body. We're going to identify which cortisol curve you guys have, because if you don't know what kind of curve you got, you can't really know what way to address it and how to fix it. So we're going to figure out how to regulate that curve based off where you're at, and then a little time for a quick Q&A. And then next week, we're going to go over exercise and how to recover from your hormones. The last week is how to stress less and tying it all together with diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and activity. So that's kind of like how I want to break apart. Again, I want these trainings to be kind of short and compact so you guys get all the information up front and then be able to apply that information and take action from it, because information without action is pointless. And then in my personal opinion, action without accountability just makes things more challenging. So let's get into this a little bit. There we go. All right. So reasons for high levels of cortisol throughout the day. So before I even get into this, wait, all right, here we go. The reasons why high levels of cortisol are not ideal for your body is because cortisol kind of takes precedence over other hormones. Because it is your fight or flight response. It's your autonomic nervous system. It is your hey, I got to take care of business. What's in front of me right now? High stress. Except back in the day, it was when we would run from bears, and now it's like we had a hard conversation with our kids, or we got a bad call from, oh my gosh, sorry to be very transparent. So my son actually has to have surgery soon, and I'm just a little stressed about it. So I'm thinking about it all the time. And the surgery date's not till June, so I have a month and a half to let it dwell. He's going to be okay. Just that is the kind of the stress that we're talking about. It's something in the future that we're not going to be able to kind of know about and have 100% certainty until it's over with. And it's just there. And we can't really do anything about it because we're doing our best. And a lot of people like talk about stress reduction and meditation and stuff like that. Well, that only goes so far for me. You have to go attack it from all fronts. That's kind of why it's not ideal. But when you are living each day, your body is literally building a shopping list. And when you go to sleep at night, it goes and shops for those things. So if you go and do like a lot of weight resistance or resistance training, it shops and it starts building up more testosterone. So you can go manage or mitigate the damage done from the workout. If you are, I don't know, high stressed all the time, your body goes and shops at night and actually wants to produce more cortisol. So we want to make sure that that is not the predominant signal, because cortisol also, while it can give you energy, it can raise blood sugar, it wakes you up, and make sure you don't die when you like get scared from a spider or something like that. It also kind of promotes fat storage. It also is a protective mechanism, and if your body is in that fight or flight, it's not going to prioritize digestion or that rest and digest or your sympathetic nervous system. Okay. So, well, big picture for a lot of us, basically, we're not getting the balanced hormones that we want because during sleep, our body's prioritizing cortisol over these more important ones. And then digestion struggles because we're never getting into that on it, or that's, oh my gosh, I can't even think, sympathetic or parasympathetic nervous system. So our digestion is more challenged. This leads to like bloating, gas, constipation, or diarrhea in some cases. Cortisol isn't all bad. We kind of talked about that. It's what wakes you up. Okay. It's responsible for increasing your blood sugar when you don't have food running through your system. So it mobilizes blood sugar. So if you have low blood sugar, if you haven't eaten for a long time, cortisol can actually bring it up. Did anybody know that? Everybody know that? Okay. On the same page? Awesome. So these are the cortisol curves that I've learned about. Basically, normally in the morning, your cortisol levels are at their highest and they gradually come down throughout the day. And if they're down at the end of the day, other hormones that help us fall asleep and stay asleep can come out to play, like melatonin, naturally occurring hormone. If anybody ever supplements melatonin, this is the easiest way to actually fix this. You never need to supplement melatonin again. Is just get your cortisol down so your melatonin can come up. Melatonin should rise when the sun sets, and then it should be at its peak around midnight. That's what keeps you asleep throughout the night. And then that's when cortisol starts being produced again for your body to naturally wake up with the sun. So that's your natural circadian rhythm, starting high, going down low throughout the day. And then who has experienced any of these other curves? So like you're just wired all the time. If you have a person that's like always jittery, always going, they're kind of like always fired up. This, you can live here for a long period of time. Just know that when you're living up here, eventually you're going to come down. Like if we looked at this as like a like bipolar, it's you're in your manic state. Tired would be your depressed state. So there are reasons why you can be wired all the time. You could be a high performing person, a mom, a superwoman who's doing all the workouts and doing all the things with everybody for everybody, and you're just wired all the time. For every bout of stress, we know we need a bout of recovery. So your body will naturally, over time, will shut down. I was actually talking to my friend Matt, who is kind of in this wired state. He's like, I wake up with passion every day. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. But my blood work is coming back like I'm a 90-year-old man that's ready to die. Not that's taken it to the extreme, but he's living in this wired state. And if we don't start balancing that cortisol naturally for him, he's going to crash eventually. Some people can put it off for years, but you're still doing that damage internally.
Brave new world.
Who has ever experienced the tired but wired? Like where you pass out because you're exhausted at night, and then you wake up midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you cannot fall asleep. You got racing thoughts. You know, your body is kind of just like on edge. You cannot calm it at all. Has anybody ever experienced that before? If you want to put your hand up or comments in the chat, or just unmute yourself and say, yeah, me all the time. Every freaking night at 2 a.m., I'm wide awake. I'm sorry. Liana, is that you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. Okay. So basically, if you're wired all the time, you got to come down from that. You can use nutrition timing to come down. You can do stress reduction techniques. You can do journaling. You can do meditation. You can do wind down exercises. You can do heat exposure. If you're tired all the time, when you need to recover, one of the best things that you can do, and most people aren't able to make this ever work, is if you would just take 5 days and sleep for 12 hours a day. Has anyone ever tried that before?
Nope.
No, that is actually like what a doctor would say to you is like if you were in this manic state for too long, it's like the best form of recovery would be to go sleep 12 hours a day for a week. That's a really quick way for you to naturally balance everything, except that's typically not possible. So some people refer to this as HPA axis dysfunction and what used to be known as adrenal fatigue. We found out now that your adrenals do not get fatigued. They just adapt. They get more efficient at it. So it's just not functioning the way that it should. And when things aren't functioning the way they should, your body tries to adapt. It tries to figure it out. But you're constantly kind of pushing this boulder uphill when you don't have your nutrition in a good spot. Your exercise is always stressing you out, or it's just adding stress. Also, weird caveat, the other day I asked everybody, like, what do you guys do to manage your stress? And almost everybody said they exercise. Well, exercise actually brings up cortisol. So you can't add stress to de-stress your body to manage stress. Okay. So while exercise is good and everybody should exercise, how you exercise and the intensity of your exercise can actually make things worse. I know I'm making more things confusing. And this is kind of the issue with this cortisol curve being off or hormone dysregulation. These are the things that are going to, these are the things that are going to cause that hormone dysregulation over time. And it could be a little bit from here. So I always look at this as like a rain bucket. So you know, you say you're in your 20s and you get your first job. That's going to fill up that rain bucket of stress a little bit. And then you get married and that comes with a little bit of stress. And then you guys buy your first house and that's going to add a little bit of stress. And you have kids and that's going to add a little bit of stress. And then you have kids and the job and the promotion and the workouts and trying to keep up with everybody else. Eventually that's going to overflow, right? And you don't even notice that level of stress until you've pushed your rain bucket or you filled your rain bucket up all the way and you're overflowing. And then that's when you're going to start noticing a lot of these symptoms or even get diagnosed with these metabolic dysfunction. But pretty much we're starting off with doing different diets, stress on your body. Postpartum is a huge one. Restless sleep, hormone dysregulation, blood sugar mismanagement. So fasting and not fasting, or fasting and then eating, or fasting and then binging, or drinking a lot of alcohol can affect this. Having low protein diets can affect this. Blood sugar mismanagement a lot. Having a lot of carbs that aren't paired with things like fiber, proteins, or fats. Toxins getting into your body. I'm not going to go on my soapbox here, but like your water, your soil, your food, your plastics, the chemicals, the seed oils, like all these different things get into your body and cause a little bit of stress. Processed foods, sedentary lifestyle, not breaking a sweat ever, not moving, not getting blood flow, that binge restrict like we talked about, the mental side of things, the emotional side of things, birth control. So basically not having your stress recovery one-to-one. But that's just your challenged body. It's going to show up as these symptoms. So if you guys have experienced any of these symptoms, I'm not going to ask you to identify them because I'm not going to put you guys on blast, but they're super common. Weight gain, fatigue, energy, bloating, mood swings, low libido, cravings, your hunger cues being off, either being always hungry, always craving foods, or never hungry. Like if you're never hungry throughout the day, even though you're eating that a lot, that's not good. Those are symptoms of the stress cell. It'll actually shut down hunger cues. Joint pain, brain fog, that tired but worried we talked about before, that fat storage, that weird things like nothing's really changed. I'm just adding more fat. I feel like I'm gaining weight every year. Higher levels of anxieties and depression. Right now, I think 25% of the American populations are on SSRIs right now. And when you're living with those symptoms long enough, and you're not addressing the stress cell, you are going to get to this metabolic dysfunction. It shows up as high cholesterol, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, PCOS for everybody. Oh my gosh, PCOS now, hyper or hypothyroid, oh my gosh, hyperthyroidism into hypothyroidism. Overall chronic fatigue, infertility issues are higher than ever. IBS and gut issues are more common than ever. And when you don't fix that metabolic dysfunction or those stress cells, that's what leads to diabetes, heart disease, and the things that scare you. So I am not trying to scare the shit out of you guys today, but if we do not manage our stress and we do not fix these things and start functioning with a level of intention, this is kind of the trend where we're seeing a lot of people. But the really good news is if you guys are on this training or if you're watching this replay, you're already kicking yourself off this trend because you're doing what most people never do. You're bringing awareness, you're figuring it out, you're learning. Okay. So thanks for being here. Happy to have you guys. But how do we get to that ideal cortisol curve and how to get it through nutrition? Because that's the focus of tonight. So how we get it naturally through our food is we want the highest levels of cortisol in the morning, gradually coming down throughout the day, lowest at night, ideally with the sun. So good. Eat throughout the day. Okay. Like if you just eat meals throughout the day so your body can start relying on blood sugar, if they're coming from and you're getting carb sources in there, that's going to increase insulin. Insulin is going to actually shut down cortisol because if your insulin goes up too high or blood sugar goes up too high, that's what's going to cause insulin to come out to play. When insulin comes out to play, it's like, hey, we need to rest and digest. We need to prioritize digestion because if you have too high a blood sugar, that's not good either. If you've ever been with somebody, you like lead to seizures. You guys probably know more about this. I'm talking to a few nurses in here. The issues with high blood sugar. Then better, eat foods that serve you most throughout the day and limit foods that you can't digest well. So not bringing up more inflammation with that. Best, and this is where we try to get all of our clients to, is eat balanced meals throughout the day. Eat 50% of your carbs around your workouts. 75% of those carbs should be post-workout to replenish glycogen stores, shut off cortisol from your workout so you tell your workout that you're done with it. Again, by introducing carbs into the system. Then leave some carbs for the rest of your day. So 50% of your carbs are here. The other 50% would be spread out throughout the day. And then with a little extra at night before you go to bed, again, for that steady blood sugar as you sleep. So if you guys have that blood sugar spike gradually come up, and I hate the term spike, but blood sugar rise as you're going down, well, insulin makes you tired. It makes you kind of sleepy. It makes you want to shut down activity. That's really cool. It shuts down cortisol. It puts you to sleep. It allows melatonin to come out to play. And if you have that steady rise, you're going to have that steady fall. So you're going to get past that midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and not have too low of blood sugar. So if you guys haven't eaten a lot of food for dinner, if you haven't had that meal, if you're kind of going into like that fasting at like noon, you're going to wake up because your body will actually sacrifice sleep to go get nutrition. Except it's not like, yo, Nikki, wake up, go get a Snickers. It's like, hey, you're awake. Go do something. You're like, you need to go get blood sugar up. And if food's not going to do it, because not a lot of people, like some people will go eat at 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, but most people, their cortisol will rise. Well, if cortisol rises again, it shuts down melatonin and you don't stay asleep anymore. It's almost like waking up and you're like, I'm ready to go for the day, except it's 2 a.m. and the rest of the world isn't ready. So for me and our clients, me especially, nutrient timing is huge. And I try to say, I was going to say huge, y'all, because, so many people from South Carolina in this group now, but I can't. It's not me. I'm not naturally saying y'all yet. I'm working on it. But nutrient timing is huge. All right. So waking up, eating to get your blood sugar like converted over from cortisol right away, like it would be ideal. Like eating before your workouts, give your body the blood sugar that it needs to. It's like fasted cardio is fine, but at the same time, you could get more energy out from the eating and fueling your workouts than you could from the cortisol, and it's healthier for your body. You can get away with a lot of this stuff when you're younger and you have less other stress, like when your rain bucket isn't full. Okay. So ideal, cut cravings and get those hunger cues back. So if you guys are never hungry, you're always hungry. These are the ways we fix it. I did not know initially that these are how you fix these hunger cues or these craving cues. I've just been told a million times from everybody who starts eating like a protein goal that they're like, oh my gosh, my cravings are gone. I'm always hungry. I wake up and I'm hungry in the morning because I like my body's used to eating breakfast. I get hungry, like when I should. Like I haven't eaten my lunch yet at noon. My body's hungry. It starts talking to me. That's a really good sign to get back to because then you have good level other hormones, which are leptin and ghrelin, your hunger and full hormones. All right, so to cut the cravings, get those hunger cues back. You want blood sugar control. Eat balanced meals, protein, carbs, fat, and fiber throughout the day. Higher protein, fat breakfast actually reduces your blood sugar spikes throughout the day, which is kind of cool. So if you guys just prioritize one meal a day and it's higher protein, you can actually mitigate your blood sugar spikes later in the day, which is kind of neat. To me, snacks are just mini meals. So if you feel like you need to have a snack, or if you have low energy and you are tired and you are hungry, don't just go grab like an apple. Grab an apple and some nuts. Carb, fat, fiber, a little bit of protein. So start pairing things together and think, how can I slowly bring my blood sugar up? Because if you go and look at the things that are going to spike your blood sugar, like say rice or white bread, I guess those are the two that come to mind. But like sugar, simple digest carbs that digest really quick, they bring your blood sugar up the fastest. How do you bring it up slower? You pair it with protein and fats. So start off your day with foods, and then carbs should come with fiber. That's kind of like what I was just talking about too. So if you need to have more energy, you could grab a Snickers or you could eat an apple. Carbs with fiber, pair with a fat and protein. Protein source to lean in on, you got coconut yogurt, fish, chicken. Just think lean protein sources. Eat some of these, eat less of these. Healthy fat sources, more of these, some of these, less of these. Foods and fats, oh my gosh, foods and fats higher in omega-3s, flaxseed, chia seed, and nuts. The reason why I'm talking about these sources, particularly because these are the fat sources, omega-3s are anti-inflammatory fats. The more you have in your body, the more balanced your inflammatory response is, the less inflamed you are, the less bloated you are. So chia seed, flaxseed, nuts are good. Actually, whole eggs, the cholesterol in eggs, because chicken's guts, oh my gosh, the chicken, when they digest chia seed and flaxseed, they actually convert at a more efficient level than our stomachs. So Eggs are healthy again. I don't know if you guys heard that came back. But the goal is to use your diet to fuel your life and lower your inflammation. So foods that avoid ones you're allergic to. If you ever eat anything and you're gassy within like 30 to 40 minutes afterwards, probably something going on with your gut where you probably can't digest that fully. If you eat something and you're like inflamed and you're tired, that's your body talking to you. If you're eating foods and like you need a nap or go to the bathroom immediately after, those probably aren't foods that you should be eating all the time. So the ones also to avoid would be those highly processed foods, higher in omega-6s and greater, because those are pro-inflammatory foods. The seed oils, stuff like that. Just highly processed, highly palatable foods that you can easily eat too much of. Those are the foods that are typically going to cause more inflammation in your body. So foods to add then, foods you eat that you feel energy and you feel full. I always encourage people to find the foods that you can go have, and then 30 to 40 minutes later, you go for a run. You feel light, you feel energized from it, you feel really good after eating it. Like if I had Thanksgiving meals and then went to run, that's the opposite. That makes me feel tired, lethargic. I want to just sit down. I want to take a nap, even though I went and ate all this food. So if you can start to identify those meals, now you have a different relationship with what you're eating. Instead of eating because like Ryan told me to, or eating because I don't know, it's noon and everybody else is eating, you start eating like, man, I don't want to be exhausted at 3 p.m. If I have a really good lunch, I should, have, I don't know, this salad or this rice bowl or this, I don't know, sushi or whatever. The foods that really just serve you most. Foods to add, foods that don't make you tired, and then fruit and veggies with the season. Eat the rainbow. Get all the vitamins, all the minerals. So I got 2 questions for you guys, and you can drop them in the chat while you're here. But I want to know, what do you currently do to lower stress on your body and in your life? So everybody in the chat. Ooh, we have some chat questions. Just thumbs up. Take my dog for a walk, meal plan, go for walks. I love it. Outdoor time, sunshine, play with kids. Love that. Sleep. All right, well, you guys are good. Apparently, you got the memo that exercise stresses us out. But it's funny because I love all those things. Anything that you feel like you can just breathe through, you can chill, you can get your mind off of things. Some other things that I would encourage everybody to do to lower your stress would to kind of try to figure out this nutrition piece. To eat enough food to support your life, to spread it out throughout the day so it is ideal, it is easy, and then you start getting more and more encouraged to eat that way, where you start feeling, full at times, you feel hungry at times, you feel you have a regular bowel movement. A regular bowel movement technically is having a bowel movement every time you eat. All right. I'll settle for 1 to 2 times a day though. Okay. So we want to be pooping every day. Not diarrhea. One glorious morning movement is the way someone describes me, and it makes sense to me. So I keep on saying that. Awesome. And then question number 2. What actions are you actually going to take from tonight? Because at the very beginning, I said action or information without action is pointless. So if you guys could put in the chat or unmute yourself. And then honestly, that's it. That was the down and dirty, quick cortisol and nutrition conversation. So if you want to unmute yourselves, you can, but I want to know what each of you guys are going to take from tonight's training and start implementing it into your day. Just one though. Or if you want to unmute yourself.
Ryan, this is really good. I think a lot of it is common sense, but you never realize what an impact it has. And so I really appreciate the information you shared. Like I learned a ton just in the quick time that you presented the information and talked us through it.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm going to do, I love to snack on sweets and salty stuff. And I've really been trying to just focus on the balanced meals and try and step away from the snacks. So this kind of reinforces that message that I need to just do my best to stay. Like I work from home, so it's easy to walk to the pantry and just grab something easy to eat. But with the balanced meals, making sure that I'm focused on, tracking it and not just kind of letting something slide is the thing that I walked away from with tonight. So thank you.
I like that. Valerie, which one of these curves do you identify with most often? Because another really weird thing that I forgot to mention
Yeah.
is that this is a 24-hour period, right? I've
Yeah.
had days like this, I've had days like this, I've had days like this, I've had days like this. But what is it typically for you?
Yeah, I'm in the normal range, thankfully. If you had asked me 10 years ago, I would have told you probably in the tired range.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with my job. I had to get up early every day, get to the office by 6:30, wasn't getting home until late. And so that just shifted my entire meal plan, that shifted my entire sleep schedule. And actually, during the pandemic, when we were all forced to work from home, my sleep pattern changed, my work pattern changed completely. So thankfully, now I'm in that normal. Hopefully, it doesn't change. I don't wake up in the middle of the night, but I understand your points about how it's all connected. Nutrition and sleep, the habits that we have. I am definitely a firm believer in everything that you're saying.
How nice would it be if we would have had this conversation like post college?
I know.
Like, okay.
Yes, I needed
Would
it
save
then.
so many headaches.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. And then Liana, figure out best foods to eat before working out. Oh, this is like my favorite conversation. This is like a trial and error thing. Because one thing, you never want to puke at a workout because that'll ruin the food forever. So for me, my pre-workouts are never bananas because someone told me to eat bananas before football one time and I puked, and now I cannot have it before I do anything active because it like just sits there. But I love peanut butter and jellies with a little bit of fruit. I use like a small little 50-calorie tortilla wrap, so just a flour tortilla, basic one from the store. I know it's not ideal, not coming with a lot of fiber, but the goal of a pre-workout meal is for it to be fully digested and eating it like an hour to 90 minutes before, so it's fully digested, so that blood sugar is at its highest when you guys are going through that workout. Okay, so things that are digesting like relatively quickly, um, would be like those simple carbs. So think fruit. Um, you don't want to have something so high in fiber that it makes you want to poop during your workout, because that's the worst too. That's why I personally love the peanut butter and jelly. It's just like you get the carbs from the tortilla or the toast or the bread, and then you get a little bit of carb or a little bit of carbs from the peanut butter, a little bit of fat from the peanut butter, a little bit of protein from the peanut butter, and then the jelly is super simple to digest sugars. Um, that's why it's my go-to. But I've done apples with peanut butter. I have done, there's like, I personally don't like pre-workouts. I'm dabbling back in it just because I had extra expenses and I wanted to try it again. But I'm doing the megawatt right now, and it's like, okay. I don't I don't really love it. Um, Anybody else on here have any ideas what they want to have? Another hard one is if you're working out first thing in the morning. Like I did a 5 a.m. Orange Theory workout one time. So I live about 25 minutes from the studio. So I just woke up with my coffee. I had some toast and peanut butter and jelly, and I felt great for the workout. Um, if you don't want to wake up, 45 minutes before your workout, then there are things that you can eat, or take as a supplement form, like highly branched cyclic dextrin is a very quick digesting carb that can kind of get your blood sugar up really, really quickly. Any other ideas? Anybody else here workout and trying to find the perfect pre-workout? No one's working out.
I'm working out, but I'm learning here. I don't have
Okay.
anything to offer.
Oh,
Sorry.
good.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is Nikki. So I work out most days at like 4:30 right after work.
Yeah.
And so I was actually, this is one of the reasons I kind of was attending this, was to learn more about how timing of my meals. So,
Mhm.
but I think you just kind of answered it for me. I usually, like, our lunch break at work is at like noon. So I eat my regular lunch, and then I'm thinking that I should do like an apple and peanut butter or something like that. I guess, I don't know, in
Yeah,
between
whatever's
there and my
easy to
workout.
digest. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Whatever is like
Okay.
really easy to digest. Like granola can be a really good one. I've seen a lot of people snacking on like granola. I personally I've been trying to step away from protein bars as much as possible because it was so simple that I
Mm-hmm.
like leaned on them a lot, and like when I ate more of them, my digestion just suffered. So it's hard for me to recommend anything that like didn't agree with my digestion.
So then if I'm eating a noon lunch and I'm working out at like going to lift at 4:30. I mean, is it pretty important that I have a snack in between, like before I do
I'd
that?
say,
Okay. All right.
I'd say. Especially because I know you're like squatting super heavy and going
Yeah.
really hard, that I want you to like have all the energy there. I don't want
Okay.
your body to like need to bring that cortisol up even higher to accomplish
Okay.
it. And like, because then the hardest part for me too is like I love working out and I like pushing heavy weights. I feel really good. You get like that dopamine hit afterwards, right? So like
Mm-hmm.
another thing about cortisol that sucks is when you're done, it leaves you feeling exhausted, right? So like if you are, this is a fun one. If you like love getting your butt kicked at like those high intensity classes or boot camps or anything like that, and you feel like super accomplished afterwards, it's because like that cortisol leaves you with that like that cortisol high. It's almost like someone referred to it as a cortisol junkie one time. It's like where I want that every day, and it's just so hard on your system. And then you have that 9 o'clock workout, and then you have that 3 p.m. crash. You're like, I need a nap, and we can't nap. I mean, naps are fine, but if you have good nutrition around it, you shouldn't need the nap. You should feel that energy all the way till you go to bed. Um, One weird thing about me right now, like Cam and I were talking, and we're gonna try to change my sleep wake schedule so I'm not waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And ever since we did, I'm wide awake at like 4:15. I cannot sleep in past 4:15. I'm trying to stay awake later. But and like just so you guys know, like I'm trying to like change things so I can like I always optimize my life and my family time too, right? So I can actually have a relationship with my wife after our kids go down. That's kind of one of the biggest reasons why I'm trying to stay awake to 9:30, and it is hard. Um, and another one too, I don't want you guys to relate this with like energy. Energy should be kind of stable throughout the day, and then being tired at night, obviously. So yes, cortisol does affect your blood sugar and it does affect your energy. Food affects your blood sugar and your energy, but you should wake up feeling rested, kind of ready to go. So energy might start low and come up with, just waking up, and it ideally should stay pretty high until you're ready to go to bed, and then it should come down. Right? That's an ideal energy curve. Um, More morning protein for Nikki, more protein to curb my cravings, Christine. All right, fun protein talk real quick. If you guys are eating protein and if you're still feeling cravings afterwards, look at your protein sources. If your protein sources are coming from things like yogurt, supplements, cottage cheese, or like things that you can pretty much chew and have down your stomach, your mouth like really quick, um, that is where I would lean away from, and I would lean into foods like chicken, steak, fish, foods that you need to chew for more than like 2 seconds for it to be able to digest. Um, Reason being, it just slows digestion. That's it. And when you slow digestion, then that's what's going to gradually bring up your blood sugar. And then if you have that stable blood sugar again, that's what's going to keep you away from like the snack attacks, in my opinion. So if you're hungry, like same thing, if people go into deficits with us, what we always encourage, like eat more volume, eat more like lean source of protein. You might actually eat less like supplements or yogurt or those things so that you are chewing more. It's a weird thing, but it adds up. And then yeah, protein to curb your cravings. Um, More protein, more morning protein. If you don't do eggs, it's a little hard. Egg whites are great for morning proteins. Um, I personally like to stack my protein like physically. I'll do bread. My bread has 5 grams of protein. I'll do a little bit of cheese. That's going to get like 4 to 5 grams of protein. I'm going to do eggs, egg whites. I do an Amy Lou chicken sausage, which is 13 grams of protein. And I make a sandwich, breakfast sandwich. It's like kind of a staple for me. I've been doing a lot of scrambles, and then I like do a lot of like peppers, chicken sausage, potatoes in a scramble is really good. Eggs and egg whites, um, a lot of protein for breakfast. I also can have 90 grams of fat in a day. Like I don't know a lot of females that are eating 90 grams of fat. So if you do need to have like the leaner sources, then you can maybe throw in like ground turkey, like lean ground turkey or turkey sausage like that. Just it's hard to have like a bunch of whole eggs and bacon and like the fattier breakfast sausages, if that makes sense. Because you know I do OTF workouts 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. On the weekends, a hike, a 5K run. On Mondays, I do feel the crash mid-afternoon, but not on the other days. I tend to eat the same most days during the week. Yeah, Leon, we can definitely talk about that. You might just need to add like another down day. Like that's just a lot of time being up. So instead of feeling like you need to crash, maybe that Monday workout should be just a nice easy walk and recovery, like a yoga session or something like that. Or maybe doing that on a Sunday. A nice easy walk, you know, not a challenging one, maybe some proactive recovery. But yeah, it's a lot. Anyone else? Any other questions? Ashley, you still there? Are you better now? Are you above a medium now? I can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
Yes, I'm okay. Just a stressful week overall, but I just took a walk while I was listening while my daughter was at dance. So I'm feeling a
Nice.
little better after that.
I think that is the ultimate parenting hack. And it's something that I never see so far, even though my kids are like 5 and younger. Um, when your kids are at a practice pace, walk around. It actually
Yeah, I
pisses me
just
off.
go
But
ahead.
no, I was gonna say
No,
it pisses
just
me
a
off
bunch of
because
people like
Kayla.
in the parking lot in their cars. And it was funny. I was like, oh, I feel so much better. I'm outside. The sun was still out and I feel so much better, like being productive.
Yeah.
You know, she was there for 45 minutes. It wasn't much, but it
Oh, that's enough though. You know, you get outside, like again, especially if you spend time in an office and your daughter, or even, you know, if you have access to outside, walking around outside, getting some fresh air. Like I can't wait for baseball. I'm gonna be walking all over that field. I do have a weird question, and it's something I'm a little self-conscious about, to be honest with you guys. So I pick up my son pretty often, and there's a pickup line, and I choose to park, and then I walk and wait for him because it just fills me up when he runs at me and he jumps in my arms, and then teacher said he had a good day. But I am the only person carrying a child. When is it not appropriate to carry your child anymore? Anyone?
When they're 20.
Okay, cool. Because like
I
he's
think
fine.
as long as they let you, then it's acceptable.
Yes, thank you. Okay, cool. You guys made my day. Because like I was starting to feel really weird. We'd be walking next to like his friends, and they like his parents, the parents of the other kids would be like grabbing their backpacks, and I'm just like carrying them or putting them on my shoulders. And then I'm like, you should probably walk at some point, but I'm not ready to like
Nah,
put them down
you
yet.
got time. You got time.
Yeah. Might turn
Don't
into a
rush
piggyback
it.
ride later. That's okay too.
Yeah, good. All right, cool. Well, you guys made my night. Any other questions for you guys? Anything that you guys want to talk about, like nutrition? Like I mentioned before, next week is going to be more talking about that activity. So, you know, do timing like workouts and other activities that you guys can do to reduce stress or reduce that cortisol curve or to get your body to balance hormones naturally. And again, like I don't want you guys to think this is just a stress training. It's kind of balancing all hormones. Okay. So the only reason why most cases, the hormones are imbalanced is because we do have this irregular cortisol curve. We have this HPA axis dysfunction where you could like lead to hypothyroidism, which is like lower energy, hyperthyroidism. It kind of depends on how long you guys are on that curve. That's what I was talking to my friend, and he is, you know, he's feeling great, but right now his blood work's not coming back good. And I don't know a lot of people that do proactive blood work. And I don't know how the insurance companies cover that. Ooh, yeah, when they're bigger than me, I like it. So next week, exercise, activity, nutrition, and other things we can do to balance our hormones, stress less, feel great. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Good night,
Yes,
everybody.
thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Have a good night.
Thank
Enjoy.
you. Bye.
Bye.